to Nylon Studios. I'm Carrie's Chelsea Henry, Senior Editor of Nylon, here with a very special guest today, the legend, Tori Amos.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Carrie's. Very good to see you today.
Likewise. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
So I have to say congratulations, first and foremost, because you are about to release your 15th album, which is an incredible accomplishment in itself. What can you tell me a bit about Native Invader and what we can expect on that album?
Well, it's an emotional record for me anyway, and the people that are listening to it are telling me it's bringing up all different kinds of emotions in a highly politicized environment that we're living in presently.
It also does touch on nature to some extent, right?
Nature is a character, a being on the album, and she's speaking. She's speaking in different ways through the record.
But without giving away too much, what can you say that nature is saying on this album?
She's saying all kinds of things. She's rattling her drums. You know, she's bringing the buffalo over the plains into your earphones and into your soul, and reminding us of our ancestors from all tribes around the globe, and that we're all made of star stuff, like the great Carl Sagan taught us.
What can you tell me about your personal relationship with nature and how it's developed over time?
Well, first of all, the record, I guess, started, the seeds were planted when I took another road trip. I do love a road trip. I mean, I am a road dog. Guilty. And so Johnny and I went down to the Smoky Mountains about this time last year. And what was important is we were able to sit with nature for many, many days. We got lost, which was scary but telling, because in getting lost, we got out of the truck and looked out over the ridges and just listened. I don't know, for about an hour, just in our own space, separate spaces. And I asked nature, I said, song lines, beings, come and invade. You are welcome to come and invade, please, and co-create, and just play me. And then hopefully we'll collaborate and write something that resonates with what people are going through at this time. Now, this was a year ago. This is before I knew that my mother wouldn't be able to speak again in a year's time. And yet she and I shared so much of what I discovered on that trip, and I had so many questions for her about when she grew up and the stories that she remembers being told from her father and her aunts and uncles when she was growing up.
Considering there are so many inspirations as far as between nature and your relationship with your mother, considering her medical situation, what revelations have you come to about yourself as a creator, considering all those things?
Well, the idea of communicating. Mary is now communicating with her eyes and the love that she's always carried. But no, she can't spell and she can't write. She's paralyzed partially, and there is no speech. It affected her speech. But she can, if she remembers a hymn or even a Beatles song, Penny Lane, she'll try and make the rhythm sounds. And that's been fascinating to watch and to share with her. So it's made me really appreciate, well, more than appreciate, understand the power of our words and how they can be weapons, as we see. And sometimes, and we weaponize our words, don't we, sometimes? And I see myself doing it and think, oh, you know, I really wish I hadn't done that, because I can't take it back. And you see the pain in that person's eyes when you say it. You're just maybe reacting to something that's happening in the kitchen. So Chocolate Song came out of that. And you realize, I can't take that back. Yeah, people can forgive you and you move on, but then you think, no, I want to be more conscious about what I'm saying in the moment. I want to be more present. And I think this whole experience with Mary not being able to talk has made me really value what being able to use words, what that's about.
Absolutely. And on the flip side of using words as weapons, do you think they could be used as weapons for good, especially considering, our political situation currently?
Honey, militia of the mind. Step up.
Right. Hashtag militia of the mind.
Yes.
Great. So, yeah, there is a song on the track list called Russia. So there is definitely a political angle to it. What's your general reaction to where you think we can go from here, politically speaking?
Well, I think don't we all really need to not be in reaction mode because that's then when we aren't grounded, and then we get drawn into somebody else's energy field that can be very distracting. So we have to focus on the issues that are around us, and not be sheep and led astray by false prophets and shepherds that might lead us in that direction. That can come from extreme right or extreme left, any extreme. You have to really, bring yourself back to balance.
So getting back to your own career and your music, if you were to listen to one of your albums on repeat for the rest of your life, which one would you choose and why?
Well, on repeat? Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean is this like my torture that I would have to
put you in the hot seat?
Oh, okay. Well, it wouldn't be Pele because there's a lot of bloodletting on that album, and that needed to happen. Mm-hmm. The 20-year anniversary happened, as we know, and that was really enjoyable to put that out again, and to remaster it and do the second disc. However, if my torture is listening to Tori on repeat, that wouldn't be the one.
Right.
So I'm not sure what would be the one, but I know that wouldn't be it.
I mean, understandable. That was the album that introduced me to you, so it's got a special place in my heart.
Yeah, but it's an acquired taste. I think there's a time in the day for Boys Repeat. We fondly call it that, but not 24 hours a day.
Understandable. Well, what are you listening to now? Who are some musicians that you find yourself a huge fan of?
All kinds. Mm-hmm. I usually don't pluck out one because I don't know. Over 25 years ago, that was going on then too, and sometimes somebody you might really admire mentions everybody but you. And I never want to do that. Yeah. But I do want to say I've rediscovered Frank Zappa, which has been really quite a walk down memory lane. I didn't understand his work as much as I'm beginning to now, so I needed to grow with it. He was such an incredible thinker, composer, musician, mind, and his interviews. Wow, I was watching them while I was writing Native Invader, and watching Carl Sagan's interviews and teachings, his teaching sessions.
Yeah, I remember hearing some references to his idea of people essentially coming from stars in the album, so that was interesting to hear that influence there. Getting back to the music you're listening to now, your daughter is of an age where she's kind of developing her own musical taste. She's sitting right here. Have you found that her interest in music has shaped yours at all now?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. She shows me things all the time that, especially when you're recording a record, which her dad and I have been doing for the last, 6, 7 months, I've lost count. And before that, I was doing the writing, and I was in the States a lot. You become, it is an isolating process. That's just, that's what I do. I cut myself off. So then I'm missing so much of what's happening. To have somebody that I have a great relationship with, that we share, it's very collaborative. She shows me things I wouldn't have known. And then I can catch up with them.
Yeah. So she like keeps you in touch, basically.
She keeps me in touch.
Nice.
And with shows as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Camila Vargas. I'm running Dallas.
Nice. So just looking back at everything you've accomplished in your career, what would you say is probably the greatest lesson that you've learned?
Greatest lesson I've learned, oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Okay. The greatest lesson is that, unfortunately, success is seductive. And it can be very dangerous because we can all be attracted to successful people. And so when it's almost 30 years now when Why Can't Tori Read came out. And when that didn't have the success that it might have had, then I learned a huge, important lesson about intention and about friends and acquaintances and business acquaintances and the music industry. And so what I needed to really understand was I need to look in the mirror with everything I'm doing and ask the question, why am I doing this? What is my intention? And hey, some of those rocker dudes in the old days would say, I want hot birds and fast cars, and that's what I want. Well, okay, then that's your intention. That doesn't mean you won't make cool music, but I needed to get clear with what my intention was. And then with some amazing people, Eric Ross, Steve Caton, David Zergerson, John Philip Chanel, we went and made Little Earthquakes. And that was a very different intention than where I had pushed myself, because I had let my vision go after so much rejection in the music industry, turning in songs and a path that I wanted to pursue with the piano there. Then I just ditched it to chase the commercial path. And there's some people that can hold that commercial path. But I don't have that energy.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say overall your intention is as an artist now?
Yes. And to write things that I feel I believe in, not to chase success with a projected view from the music industry about what is a popular song. Well, what is that anyway? I don't know if popular needs to really matter. What's a song that I believe I can sing with that's genuine, coming from you,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
I feel like in general the industry is slowly starting to acknowledge that, especially considering, the digital age where listeners of music are choosing what they want to listen to
Yes.
instead of being fed things. We can choose what we want to listen to, and we can weed out who's genuinely creating what we want to hear. So I would say that we're maybe slowly but surely getting to a point where everyone understands that as success too.
Yes, I think the public, I agree with that. I think sometimes there are people in the industry that understand that, but there are also people in the industry that aren't as progressive as you are. And so we have to hope that that progression does get into the upper echelons of power in the music industry.
Absolutely. So Obviously, people are probably very excited to see how Native Invader will get translated into a live performance. Do you have any plans for tour that you can share with us yet?
Well, I'm about ready to dive into that a week from now.
Okay,
And
so very soon.
Yeah, it's a mystery, but it's going to be fine. And the thing is, I feel like this tour is really about the collaboration of energy of what people are bringing, their experiences in the last year, what they're learning, what they want to communicate. Because I'm learning things from people that that I might not agree with. But if I'm just sitting and listening and not deflecting before they even speak, well then what is my message? So I'm really in a place of listening, and then I believe that translating then what that energy is into the live show that night, the set will be what it is, the songs will be what they are, the arrangements, there'll be variations on the theme because Native Invader is highly produced. It's one of the more produced records that we've done in a long time. It has energies of Choir Girl, I guess, and yes, Scarlet's Walk, but Choir Girl more the technology. And so on stage, it's not about an exact replica of the record. It's about taking the songs and then making them work in a live genre.
That's like a whole other aspect of creating an album too. It's so interesting to then take that and then turn that into another piece of art almost by putting it on
and
stage.
I haven't figured it out yet, so
It'll come.
fingers crossed.
Are you sharing anything else before the album comes out? Another single before September 8th?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Keep your eyes peeled. Well, thank you so much for stopping
Thank
by.
you so much. It was lovely
Such
to
a
meet you.
pleasure.
Great to meet you.
Likewise. And everybody at home, make sure to keep an eye out for Tori Amos's upcoming 15th album, Native Invader, out September 8th. Thanks so much for joining us.